I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. A man who threatened to kill his ex-girlfriend is behind bars. Sheriff's deputies arrested Gerard Moore after they say he texted death threats to his former girlfriend. Police say he then tried to make good on those threats and pointed a shotgun he'd stolen from his ex right at her over the weekend. Moore was arrested Tuesday in Bunnell after deputies established a perimeter around the trailer where he was staying and called in a negotiation team. He eventually surrendered peacefully and was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. His accomplice, Michelle Visiglia, who deputies say was present when he pointed the gun at his ex, faces charges of tampering with a victim. Moore, who's a 3-time convicted felon, is being held without bail. A man on the run for shooting into a vehicle in Flagler County is arrested in Volusia County. With more, here's Tony Magoo.
On January 12, 27-year-old Devontel Cooper walked up to an occupied vehicle on US 1 in southern Flagler County and just started shooting. Yesterday, Cooper was taken into custody. He had an active Flagler County warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and shooting into an occupied vehicle. Through their investigation, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office Problem Area Crime Enforcement Unit found out that Cooper may be staying at an apartment complex in Daytona Beach. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the Daytona Beach Police Department, and their SWAT team found him and took him into custody. Thankfully, this dangerous offender is off the streets and behind bars where he belongs, Sheriff Rick Staley said following his arrest. Cooper was booked at the Volusia County Branch Jail and will be extradited to Flagler County. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
A local official made a very public exit from his position at a meeting this week, as we hear from John Arking.
At Monday's meeting of the Flagler County Airport Advisory Board, Chairman Darrell Hickman continued his public criticism of the airport director, even taking it a step further, announcing that he had enough.
Since I am subject solely to a reactionary position on an already determined outcomes, I ask that with all due respect, you accept my immediate resignation from your airport advisory board.
Hickman's ire centered on a $250,000 purchase of 15 acres by the county airport, where a 15,000 square foot general aviation terminal is planned, along with administrative offices. The original cost of the land was $220,000, which was the initial agreed upon price, but it went up $30,000 after the seller sought a second appraisal. Hickman suggested the increase may have come about after the seller determined the airport had moved ahead with plans for the new terminal on land it did not currently own and thus put itself in an inferior bargaining position. He said almost all of the decisions about the new terminal were made without the input and guidance of the advisory board, which might have been able to push things in a better direction.
In my opinion, the airport advisory board is one such group tasked with some of this needed oversight. Unfortunately, our concerns and opinions have largely been ignored, and in this case has created an expenditure of $250,000 that might likely have been avoided with better communication and collaboration.
The commission, without comment, went ahead and approved the purchase, which was on its consent agenda later in the meeting. Nor was any comment made about Hickman's criticism or resignation. Les Abend, the vice chairman, took on the leadership role until a replacement can be appointed. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
How's Florida's credit rating?
Representative Paul Renner, who represents us in the state legislature, says it is the tops.
We're one of, I think, only like 15 states in the country, maybe fewer, that has a AAA credit rating. That's the gold standard. Think of a credit score of 800. That is a product of the fact that we've reduced our debt while every other state is adding to their debt.
Renner said that since we put more money into reserve, our state government is very sound. He said that with people moving out of those high-tax states and into Florida, their money comes with them so that the taxes are lower here. To listen to the full interview, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, vacation rentals. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.